Okay, another video on inverse proportions. So let's dive straight in. We have a table of values. We need to work out the connection between the x and y. We need to find the equation linking these two. If we know the x, how do we find the y? But it isn't just a matter of guessing because we are given this particular relationship. So let's go unpack this now. So it is known that y is inversely proportional to. So as soon as we see those words, we write down for part A, y is inversely proportional to, so that's k divided by. Now, direct proportional would be y equals k times by, right? So this is k divided by, and that's for the inverse proportion. All right, and now what goes on the bottom? Well, it's the square root of x, so the square root of x. All right, so for inverse proportional questions, the thing that changes would be this variable on the bottom. It sometimes is x, it could be x squared, it could be x cubed, it could be the square root of x, it could be the cube root of x. It's basically whatever is written here, you'll translate it into symbols and letters and place it here. So there's part A answered. Now let's look at part B. And it gives you a big clue here again. It says use the values of the table. Use the table of values to calculate the value of k. Alright, so if we want to find the value of k, it would help if we could know a y and an x pair of values that makes this equation true. And of course we've got that. We've got x is 1, y is 400, or x is 4, y is 200. So we can actually choose any of these values in the table to substitute into our equation. So why not? Let's just choose x is 25, y equals 80. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down. X is 25, y equals 80. This is a pair of xy values that will make the equation true. So let's go ahead and substitute in, and by substituting we take the original equation and we literally substitute like a sporting game, like a football game, and we replace the x with 25, it's substitute, and we replace the y with the value of 80, it's a substitute. So let's go ahead and do that. 80 gets replaced for the y, k we don't know yet, and then root 25. I think that root 25 is 5, so this is 80 equals k divided by 5, and of course the 5 now can come up here and multiply. K equals 80 times 5 equals 400. So the actual rule now is y equals 400 divided by root x. So this is our rule linking x and y. Let's go and check that it works for all the other pairs of xy values. Well, look, here's x equals 1. Let's substitute in here. The square root of 1 is, well, 1, and 400 divided by 1 is 400. Yep, so that's good. When x equals 4, let's go ahead and substitute that in here. The square root of 4 is 2, and then 400 divided by 2 is 200. And look, that's the answer there. So absolutely fine, it's working beautifully. And now part C. So part C is to find the missing y values. So when x is 100, what is the y value? When x is 16, what is the y value? So let's go write it down here. X is 100, x equals 16. So y equals, well, you can see what we have to do now, I hope. When x equals 100, we just substitute into the equation and we find the y partner. When x equals 16, substitute this one in, find the y partner. Let's go and write that down. Y equals 400 divided by root 100. Again, calculator or in your head. This is 40. And down here, y equals 400 divided by the square root of 16, right? Because we've substituted 16 into the equation. And that means y equals 400 divided by 4. So y equals 100. So there you go. If you follow the previous two videos, this is exactly the same structure. And the only difference, of course, as we've highlighted, is what happens to the x part down here. So off you go. There are 3 more questions. Show all the working out in your exercise book. And the structure should look just like the worked example. Don't leave out any steps. And make sure you have it nice and clean and easy to read.